Hello and welcome to today's Bitrix24 webinar, Next Level CRM. So who are we? We are Bitrix24 Gold Partners Interface. My name's Sam Connor, Sales Engineer here at Interface. We're based in the UK, in New York and Dubai. And what we can do is we can provide a full range of services to help you with Bitrix24. So if you're new to Bitrix or if you're currently evaluating Bitrix24, we can provide you with a meeting and a demonstration to run through your requirements and to see if Bitrix24 would be a good fit for your business. If it is, we can then provide implementation services. So we can set up your system. We can provide any customizations that you require and help you get the most out of your Bitrix24 system. For a self-hosted edition, we can provide our hosting services and we can then provide ongoing support and training on the system. So as I say there, if you are new to Bitrix24, it is a collaboration suite of well over 35 tools now to help you manage your business. And today specifically, we will be looking at the CRM system. There are over 8 million customers who use Bitrix24 around the world, and it is voted within the top 10 CRM systems globally. So it is an incredibly powerful CRM tool, and you'll be able to see that today as we go through the webinar. And Bitrix24 is available in two different editions. So we have the cloud edition, and we also have a self-hosted edition as well. And prices begin for a cloud edition from $19, and a self-hosted 12-user license is available for $1,490. Okay then, so the webinar today, Next Level CRM. First of all, really we want to understand why should you use Bitrix24 for your CRM requirements. So today we'll see how we can go through the marketing automation features and how we can automate processes and how we can then capture and qualify leads in a very efficient and timely manner so we can progress our inquiries very quickly. We'll work through the sales pipelines so we can see how we can segment our sales into specific categories. And very importantly, we'll see how we can build a 360-degree picture of all of the activity and all of the communications that we have with our customers. That's really essential in a CRM system. We'll look at how we can monitor your teams. So we can look at reports and analytic features to see how well our teams are closing their sales in the CRM. And we'll then also look at how we can forecast sales and look at detailed reports in the CRM system. So that gives a brief overview of why you should use the Bitrix24 CRM, and specifically in the webinar today, we will be looking at these topics. So we will see how we can generate leads from a variety of different tools that are available in Bitrix24. And once we've gone through those generating leads, we'll then give you an overview of the CRM system. So we'll see how we can progress a lead into a deal and look at the different entities available in the CRM system. And then we'll do a case study. So we'll go through from submitting a web form all the way through to then closing the sale in the CRM system. So we'll see how we can progress in a full sales cycle in the CRM. And then lastly, we'll look at the reporting features that are available in the CRM system. Okay, so first of all, today we're going to look at how we can generate leads in Bitrix24. So it's very important to capture those leads and inquiries and progress them through our CRM system. And Bitrix24 has a variety of ways to generate leads in the system. So first of all, we can see at the top here, we can import leads. So that could be through a CSV. There we can import leads from Excel or CSV database, or if you have them in an existing CRM, you export that data. We can then import that into the Bitrix CRM. We also have live chats. so people are messaging you through the live chat system, that can automatically generate a lead in Bitrix, and we'll have a closer look at that shortly. We also have social network integrations, so with Facebook, Instagram, people message you on those platforms and channels, they can automatically feed into Bitrix and generate a lead. We also have very popular, this is probably the most popular automation process in terms of generating leads, is CRM forms. So you can build your forms in Bitrix. You can then embed those onto landing pages or onto your websites. Then when people submit their information, that can automatically generate a lead in Bitrix for us in the CRM system. There is also telephony, so we can integrate with your telephone providers and your telephone systems. So if somebody calls into the Bitrix system, Bitrix will try to recognize that number, and if it's a brand new number, we could automatically generate a lead in the CRM. We also have sites, which we'll have a look at as well in some more detail. So we can build our very own landing pages. Maybe it's a promotional landing page, and we can create that site in Bitrix. And then we can integrate different widgets such as live chats and CRM forms to populate our leads in the system. We also have marketing. So CRM marketing module is really important. So we can create our very own mailing campaigns and send those out to potential customers to bring people and close sales in the CRM. And last but not least, you can also manually add leads. So we've seen a lot here of different ways of automating leads. We can also manually add a lead into our CRM system. Okay, so let's just have a closer look at some of those types of leads that we can create. So first of all, let's have a look at a live chat to see how we can manage that in our system. Okay, so here we're on a website. So this is a website we created here. And you can see at the bottom, we have a widget. So one way we can automatically generate leads is using our live chat system. So I can open up the widget here and I can select, there's different types of options, the live chat or a form, and I can then post a message. So maybe I'm interested in this cake shop. Maybe I've got a question. So I can type out my message, and this will then get fed into our Bitrix24 system. So I can post my message. And we can then see here in our Bitrix system, I've received that message. So I can now go into our messaging system and I can then respond to that directly from our Bitrix system. So you can see here then how we can start to manage any inquiries. That conversation is automatically fed into our Bitrix system, and that information can then generate a brand new lead in our CRM system. Now, in terms of how that live chat gets embedded onto that website, you have in your Bitrix system, in the CRM here, we have a website widget area. And this is where you can build out your live chat system. So I can come into here and first of all, I can choose the position for the widget. So we've positioned this in the bottom right-hand corner. Usually that's where you would see a live chat system, but you can decide exactly where you would want that widget to be positioned. We can then also introduce some delays. So if we wanted that to immediately show or introduce a delay, you can customize that and the color. And if you're building a site or a landing page in Bitrix, we can then simply select this widget for that page. But if you're wanting to embed this widget onto an existing website, you can use the code here to embed that widget onto your website. And once you've set up that widget, we can then configure the settings. So we saw how that live chat request was routed to myself. You can have those live chats routed to specific people who are on your Bitrix system. It could go to certain departments. So you can customize and route those live chat inquiries to specific people in your Bitrix system. And very important, what we're looking at right now is the way we can generate those leads. So what we can do here in the settings is we can automatically create a new lead. So when we're adding our details onto the live chat, if those details are brand new, we can then automatically create a new lead in the CRM. So it's very important that you do have that setting enabled in the system. So if I just go back to our page here, you can see now it's starting to ask me to add some information. So I can submit my details, and that has now been fed into here. And we can see now that has created a brand new lead in the CRM system. So I can now go into that lead and I can see all of the information from that live chat and any details that have been submitted on the live chat request. So all of that information will then be fed into your lead page. Okay, so you can see that there, and you can see the live chat there as well. So that's all been automated through the live chat system. Another way we mentioned there how you can generate leads is using sites. So Bitrix has a really useful feature of building your very own landing pages and websites. And really, in terms of generating leads, what you can do is you can create promotional landing pages. So you can put your own domain on these pages. So it could be you have a promotion, you build a landing page in Bitrix to send people to. And from there, what we can then do is we can integrate those different types of lead generation features. So here, for example, we have a landing page to win some free cake. We've got our own domain for this page. And what we've done is we've integrated different lead generation features. So we've got our website live chat, and we've also got a website form here. So I could submit my information on this form, and that can automatically feed into Bitrix and generate a brand new lead in the system. Or again, we could use the live chat feature here to ask a question. And again, that could also automatically create a lead in our system. So you can build your own landing pages in Bitrix. You can then integrate those different features to generate leads onto your landing page. And this is really useful if you are maybe promoting a certain, maybe it's a competition as we're doing here, or a special event. You can use these features to then generate those specific types of leads that you are trying to promote. Okay, so now from there, so you can build your own sites. We're not going to go into how you build the sites today. There is another webinar, Sell More with Sites, where we go into detail of how you can build your sites in the system. So just look out, if that's what you're interested in, please do join that webinar, and we will go into detail of how you create those sites in the system. But this then also links into the marketing feature. So maybe we send out a marketing campaign to people, and we then send a link to the landing page that we have created. So this can all link in together. And this can be done in the CRM marketing module. Okay, so the CRM marketing module is a really powerful tool to generate your own marketing campaigns that can then be sent out from Bitrix. So you can see here the different types of campaigns that you can create. So a very common and popular one is an email campaign. You can also create SMS campaigns. Now, if you want to send an SMS campaign, you do need to integrate with one of the SMS providers that Bitrix integrates with. So in here, you can add your SMS message, and you need to integrate with an SMS provider. Now, there are, I believe, over 150 SMS providers. So you would need to integrate with one of these providers here, and you're then able to send out SMS marketing campaigns from the marketing module. You can also do Facebook Messenger campaigns. So you could send out messenger campaigns to a group of people. There is also voice broadcasting. So you can record a message and then send that out to, again, a group of people for your marketing materials. and we also have audio calls. And an audio call is where you type out a message here. So that message will then be relayed to the other people. So I could upload a recording, and I can also type out a message. Okay, but let's have a look at then an email campaign, because this is probably the most popular type of campaign that you can create in the marketing module. So inside here, what we can do is you could upload your own custom HTML. So if you wanted to upload your own HTML, you can use this feature here. Or Bitrix comes with a variety of templates that you can use. So once you've selected your template, you can then start to build out your marketing campaign. And it's very simple to do. There is no coding involved. I can add my text like so. I can upload images, so I can populate images into here. And it's all done in a block format. So if you want to move any of these blocks around, you can see here how easy it is to customize these pages. And you can then preview what this looks like on different devices. So I can see here on a phone, on a tablet, and also on a desktop application as well. And what's really useful in the marketing module is it could be a blast email that you're going to send out to all of your contacts. So that's fine. So it integrates with the CRM system. Or you can send out the campaign to specific segments. So a segment could be maybe the lead, and it could be a certain source. So Bitrix will bring in all of the different fields and sources from your CRM system. So you might want to send this campaign out to everybody who has come through from a live chat as a source. So I could send this campaign out to that specific group of people. Or maybe it's of a certain type of contact. So you can segment your contact database. You might want to send a campaign out to a certain group of people. You can create as many segments as you like, so you can really target your marketing activities. And once you've sent your campaigns, you can then see the analysis in the campaign tab. So first of all, when you sent a campaign, you'll see a recipient list. So you'll be able to see the status, if they've read or if they've clicked on that campaign. And you'll also see more analysis. So what you can do is you'll see the number of views, the number of clicks, and you'll also see a click map. So you'll be able to see where on that campaign your clients have actually clicked through. So there's lots of analysis we can gather from the campaigns we send from the marketing module. Okay, so that's an overview of the different ways we can generate leads in the system. Now let's just take a look at an overview of the CRM module. So let's have a look at the overview of the system. So how we can see leads, contacts and companies, deals and quotes, and the invoices in the CRM system. So here is our CRM module. Okay, so we're coming to our CRM system, and first of all, just to point out, there's lots of data in here. We are an administrator on this system. You can set permissions. So users might only see the leads that they are responsible for example. So you can set permissions throughout the CRM system. But here we have leads, and leads are really our general inquiries. So for example, if somebody submitted a web form, that is just a general inquiry. And what you do in Bitrix is you will then progress that lead through different stages to try and qualify it, to get more information, to see if it's an opportunity we should be working on. And the leads here that you see, sorry, the stages you can see here, they are fully customizable. So you can have as many or as few stages as you require. You can change the name, you can change the colors. So it's fully customizable to your lead qualification process. And the actual layout of this, again, that is customizable. And you can even decide what fields of information should be displayed here. So you can customize what data is being selected in here. We also have a slightly different view, which is the Kanban view. So here you can see those lead stages we're going through to qualify the lead across the top. And you can then progress your lead through those different stages like so. And at the top and throughout the CRM system, you have a filtering tool. So in here, you might want to filter based on the stages of a lead, maybe based on who's responsible. So you can create your very own multiple field searches in the system here. And if we just go into a lead page, we'll just see how that lead page is laid out. Okay, so we're in a lead page here. On the left-hand side, you can see all of the lead details. You can add your own custom field to capture any specific information. And on the right-hand side, you can see all of the activity feed. So we can see any emails, any notes. So if you've integrated your emails, those will all be synced into here. We can see some planned activities such as tasks. So you can plan activity in here. You might want to schedule a call with this lead. So all of that activity can be saved in this lead page. And you can also add any notes as well. So we'll go into more detail in a second of when we progress through an entire lead. But all of that information is then stored in this one page for you. And once we've gone through those stages, so we've gone through and hopefully we've qualified that lead, you can then turn that lead into different entities in the CRM system. So what we can do is we could create a contact. So we could create a contact record and save that as a record in our CRM system. But if there's a sales opportunity involved in that inquiry as well, we could also create a deal. And a deal is a way of segmenting your sale. So here we can select a pipeline to segment that opportunity into. So here we've done this based on geographical location, but you can segment it. It's based on your business. So it could be based on different products or services you sell. It's completely up to you how you customize the way you segment your sales. But I could then select the UK office and segment that deal into our UK office pipeline. And that's then how we can see our deals, contacts, and companies. So let's just go into our contact database to see all of the records of our contacts. Okay, so here is our contact database. So these are now people who are recorded in our system. They are a contact in our database. So we can see all of our contacts here. And again, you have the ability to search through the system. So it's a multi-field search. You can then select your contacts from the database. And once you have generated a contact can then be linked back into a deal. So if you've got sales opportunities, those can be synced back to your contacts. So inside here in the contact page, we can see the contact's details, and you can associate a contact to a company. So here we can see Mark Moon is a sales manager of Techco. And on the right-hand side, we can see all of the communication log. So this is a really useful page because it shows you all of the communications, if that's emails, telephone calls, any planned activity, it's all linked back to that contact page. So here you have one true view of all of the information about this contact. And you can see here who is responsible for any activity from our team that is associated to the contact. And we have different tabs across the top here. So I can see all of the deals that this contact is associated with. And I can see what stage they're at in the sales process. And I can also see all of the quotes and invoices that they're associated with as well. So it gives you one true view of all of the details associated to the contact. Okay, and let's just have a look in the company database. So here we have the company database, very similar to the contact database. The real difference here is when we go into that company page, because what we have in the company page is the ability to associate multiple contacts to a company. So we can see Sam Smith and Mark Moon are associated to Techco, and then all of the activity associated to the company is fed into here. And just like you saw in leads, you can do this in deals, in contacts and companies. You can create your own custom fields to add information to that page. Now, we mentioned there as well about the marketing module. Now, you can actually also feed into the marketing module from the CRM system as well. So if we just go back into one of our CRM systems here, and we'll just go into our contact database. So it could be that you've segmented your contacts. So what you can do is you can use the filtering system here, and you can filter on any of those contacts in your system. So I might want to look at all of our suppliers in the system. So you can filter on any of that data. And what you can then do is you could then send out a marketing campaign directly from this page. So I've selected that group of people. And what I can then do is I can select an action. So for example, I could create a marketing campaign. And then I can select the type of campaign. So maybe it's an email campaign. And I can then apply this. So that group of people are then going to be integrated and sent out this particular marketing campaign from our system. Okay, so that's a really useful feature. So if you are using segmentation, you can then generate those contacts, those pieces of information, and use the marketing module to send out that campaign to that specific group of people. Okay, so let's just go back into here. That's a really useful feature, and we'll go into in a second, go through the actual way that we can create a lead going into a deal and a contact. So we'll see the full process of going through the sales cycle inside Bitrix. Now we can also generate deals. So a deal can be associated back to the contact. So we saw how those deals are linked back to the contact. And in the deals page, you can select your pipeline. So using pipelines, you can then segment your sales opportunities into a specific category. And I can then go into any of those deals. And you can then see here the deal is linked. So you can link the deal to a company or contacts. So you can add multiple contacts or companies to your deal. And that can then be progressed through different stages. And those stages are fully customizable. So again, just like in leads, you can have as many or as few stages as you require. You can change the names and colors of those stages, and that's for every single pipeline. So you may have different sales strategies for the different products and services that you sell. So using the pipeline feature, you can customize the stages in every single pipeline. And inside the deal section, you have a products tab. So in here, you can select products that you want to add. So you can have product catalogs where you can add your different products and services. And that then generates you a deal inside the system. So we can see here now the value of our deal. And once you've generated a value, you can create different types of documents. So you can create quotes and invoices inside the deal here. So I can see this quote is at a draft stage. So you can create your own custom stages that you progress your quotes through. And once you have created that quote and it's been approved, you can then generate the invoice. And this is all then linked back to the deal. So I can generate that invoice in the system. You can create your own custom stages, and that's all then associated back to the deal itself. Okay, so I can just show you here our deals and invoices. So we'll just go back into our other system. Okay, so we have our invoices sections here. So this is another nice feature. You can hide certain features. So if you don't want to have the ability to see certain tabs, maybe you don't want to have quotes and invoices, you can hide these in the sections here. So if we go into here, I can go into our invoices tab. You can then see all of the invoices across the CRM system. So I'm seeing the invoices that I am responsible for. I can see what stage they're at, and I can click into any of these invoices to see more information. So I can see all of the detail about the invoice, and I can see what stage it's at in the system. And you can upload your own templates. So you might have quote or invoice templates. You can upload those into Bitrix, and we can then map across any fields or information to generate you that quote or invoice. So you can then use your own branding on any quotes and invoices that you create in Bitrix. Okay, so let's just see if we have any questions that we can run through for you. So please do add your questions into the question box and we can go through those for you shortly. Okay, so what social networks can be integrated? So there are a variety of social networks that you can integrate using Bitrix. So we have Facebook and Instagram. So these need to be business accounts. That's important. You need to have Facebook and Instagram business accounts. But you can then connect these to Bitrix. So if somebody, say, messages you or leaves a comment on your Facebook profile, that can then be integrated into Bitrix. So it can come into here just like with a live chat, and you can then respond to those requests directly in the Bitrix system. And that's for Facebook and for Instagram. So those are the social networks that we can integrate with. Okay, if there are any other questions, please do add them into the chat window and we'll run through those for you. Right now, though, what we're going to do is we're going to run through an overview of a case study. So we're going to follow through a full process from generating a lead, converting it to a deal, and creating then a quote and an invoice so we can close that sale opportunity. Okay. So what we'll do here is I have a web form that's been created. And as I said to you earlier on, this form can be embedded into your website, so it doesn't need to be on a landing page. But for our demonstration today, I've created a form with some fields and information, and I'm then going to submit this. So I've got an inquiry that I need to be supported on. So I can submit that inquiry, and what will happen is that will then be fed into our Bitrix system. So you can see here now I've received a notification. And if we go into our lead database, we'll see that will have generated a lead in the system. So we can see here 13 seconds ago, Samuel Smith's CRM form application has been submitted. So you can see there how simple it is to generate leads in the system. So that's brought through the details, it's brought through the lead name. And what you can do is you can then add additional information. So you might want to add some additional details into here. And you can see here now on the right-hand side, it's already created a planned activity. So that you can use the automation to automatically create activity in the system. So in the automation tab here, what you can do is you can use those stages to automate activity. So for example, as soon as that lead comes in, we're going to send out a thank you email to them. And as we're progressing it through, we're going to schedule a first call with this lead. So if I go into here and if I now progress this to the first call stage, we can see now that's automatically created an outbound call for me to manage. So using those stages, we can automatically create activity in the system. Okay, so let's just go into here and I'm just going to add a name into here. So let's just add the details. So I've got the lead name, actually, that's fine. So I'm going to add some products. So I've spoken with them, I've done that first call, and then I'm going to add some products into here. So let's add a product into here. That's going to generate a value that's associated to this lead. I'm just going to change this so we can add our Samuel Smith in the system. We can then progress it through those different stages. We've done our activity. Maybe I need to add some notes. I've had a call, so I can add some notes into here. You might want to upload some documents as well. So you can add as much information into here as you require. And then from there, what I can do is I could then complete this lead. I could then generate a deal and a contact, and I can choose what pipeline I want to segment this into. So let's save that into our UK pipeline. And from there, then that's going to generate us a lead. So it's noticed here that there is a duplicate control, so it will match any duplications that you find in your CRM system. From there, that lead has now been progressed, and you can then see all of your other leads in the system as well. So you can go through here and see all of your different leads. And another way you can go through and close a lead is you can then progress it into your one section here. So that will then convert it as well. So from there, we can generate a brand new deal in the system, and we can also convert it into a contact. So we saw there how we converted into a contact as well. So if we just go into one of those contacts, so we've converted that lead, and from there we could then generate a deal associated to the contact. So if I go into here, I could then choose that area we want to create a sale. So I'm going to create a deal in our UK pipeline. And you can give this deal a name. So I'm going to say license and add your information. And it will then create that lead for you in the system. So it's brought through the contact details. We can now see the stages as well that we're going to progress that call through. Now, what's useful here, if you've integrated telephony, I could call the contact directly from this page. So I can call, maybe I want to discuss this deal with them. So I can create that call, add any notes that I need to do into here. Maybe I need to schedule a meeting, so I want to discuss the requirements with them in some more detail. So what I could do is I could choose when I'm available in the system. So I might want to schedule a meeting. And let's say this is for 1 hour. So I can select when that meeting is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to schedule that activity in the system. I brought through some details, so I'm going to add the product. Sorry, I didn't save that before, so I'm going to add the product into here as well. So I've generated a value for this particular deal. And what we can then do is, as I progress that deal through the different stages, it can then start to automate activity. So now I need to build a proposal. And you can generate tasks, which is a really useful feature in Bitrix. So I need to build a proposal, prepare a quote. So I can now start tracking time against this task that I'm working on. So I can go into here and let's add a new quote to this deal. So it's brought through the details, it's brought through the product information. So it's brought through the data that we need. And as we mentioned earlier on, you can generate your own quotes and invoices. So you can use the document generator here. So what I can do is I've got a template, and Bitrix will then map across any fields and data from your CRM system to generate you that document. So we can see here, I brought through the product details. We've also added some of our branding onto here to make it look more streamlined and professional. And that's then all integrated in the deal page. So I can then send this out via an email or even send a public link to this quote in the system. Okay, so I can then go through here and maybe I've downloaded that quote and I can progress it through different stages. And what I could do from here is I could go back into that deal page and I could then email Mark to let him know that I have generated the invoice, the quote. So we can integrate with our email system here. And I could then send out an email. Okay, so I can then add that. And I can then send that email out directly from the deal page. And all of that information is saved here in the activity stream. So you can see all of that information. I'm going to start ticking off some of these tasks that I've completed for the deal. And I can go into here and see that quote. So I can see I'm currently waiting on the client to approve that quote in the system. Now, we mentioned there how you can generate quotes and invoices, but we do have a document generator. So what you can do is you can add your own documents. So it doesn't just have to be a quote or an invoice. You might want to create your very own documents that we populate in Bitrix. So you can upload your own templates. And what you can then do is you can map across any data. So these are all fields in our CRM system. We can then add the code here onto your templates to generate you that document. And you can also use automation. So in our automation section here, we could actually automatically create a CRM document. So you could select the type of document that you want to create, and using the automation tools, we could do that automatically. Okay, so maybe our contact has now got in touch and he has approved the quote. So we could use automation to then update this deal, and we could then generate the invoice in the system as well. And I'm going to then approve this and complete the sale there. So it's been completed, it's been approved, and then I can close this deal as completed. So using those documents, we can then close those deals. It's been won in the system. And if we just go into our deals tab here, you can see all of the deals throughout the system and what stage they're at. And I think a really useful display is the Kanban view here. So you can see if you've added a product to your deal, you can see the value of all of your deals at each stage. So if I now progress this deal to another stage, that will automatically update the value. So this is a really nice way to see your sales and also forecast your sales using the pipelines and stages. And now if we go back into our contacts, so Mark Moon was the contact we were working on there to generate that deal. And we can then go into our deal section here and we can see that license deal. It's inside here and it's just been completed. So all of that is then linked back to the contact in the system. Okay, so that's an overview of how you can complete your lead to a deal and close that deal in the system. And we mentioned there how you've got a quote in an invoice database. So you can see all of your quotes and invoices throughout the CRM system in here. You can filter, so you might want to filter on all of the paid invoices, for example. So you can create your own filters to find any specific detail from the CRM system. Okay. So let's just see if we have any other questions. So we've looked at social media. Okay, so is there a way to create a multilingual widget for external sites? So for that request, if you could email sales@interface.com, I think would be easiest if we set up a meeting with you just to discuss that requirement in some more detail, okay? Okay, so the question, can I export the data from our CRM system? So yes, absolutely you can. So if we just go back into our CRM, I don't know which section of the system you're specifically talking about, but in any of the leads, deals, contacts, and companies, if you have the list view, so as long as you're in that list view, you can export to a CSV or to Excel. So you can take all of that data out of your CRM system. So it's a very simple process to export data from your Bitrix system. And okay, another question, what if I don't want our sales agents to see other sales agents' leads? So yeah, that's a very good question. So what you have in the CRM system is you have permissions. So for every user in the system, we can set a permission setting. And based on that permission, we can then grant access to different types of information and data in the CRM system. So for example, what we could do is we could say, you mentioned their leads. What we may say is the person can only see leads that they are personally responsible for. So that means they would only see those leads they are responsible for in the Bitrix CRM. They wouldn't be able to access any other lead data in the system. And you can configure the settings for every single entity in your CRM. And it even goes down to each stage of the deal as well. So you can fully customize this for every section of the CRM system. Okay, so now let's just have a look into the reporting features that are available inside Bitrix24. So an overview of the different reporting capabilities here. So we have filters in leads and in deals. So let's just have a look at that first. So the filtering system is very important because this does give you a really good overview of all of your data that's in the system. And because you have the stages, these customizable stages in leads and deals, it's a really useful way to visually see your sales processes. So here, for example, in deals, we have our list view. In this display here, you can customize. So you might want to configure this specifically for your reporting features. So I can configure this. I can also select different types of information and data that I want to display here. So if you're wanting to build out this dashboard, you can customize what information is being displayed. And from here, you can then export this. So you might want to configure this specifically for a report, and you can then export that data into a CSV or an Excel format. Now you can also use the filtering system. So maybe you actually want to filter based on a certain sales agent. So you might want to look at only a certain user's deals. So again, I could filter into the system here and just look at those and export this information. So the list view is really important because it allows you to customize the layout, configure what data is being displayed, and use the multi-field filter to capture and report on very specific details in your system. And that's available in every single pipeline, and you can also do that in the lead database as well. Now you also have the Kanban view. So as we mentioned, this is a really useful feature. So you have your stages across the top, and you can then see all of the different leads and what stage they're at. But as we briefly mentioned earlier on, I think the Kanban view is really useful in the deals section, because the deals here, it shows you the value of each stage in your pipeline. And as we said here, as I progress those deals through those different stages, the value is then automatically updated. So we can see where our sales are at, we can see how much value is at each stage. And this is really useful for forecasting sales. So you can see how close we are to closing sales in our system. And once again, even in the Kanban view, you can use the filtering system. So again, if you wanted to filter down to specific people or maybe custom fields, you can use the filtering system to do that. Quite a new feature within Bitrix is our CRM Analytics module. So this will generate you your own reports using the data from the CRM system. So for example, if you wanted to build reports based on the different pipelines that you have, you can build your own dashboards here. So I might want to look at all of our 2020 results for the UK pipeline. You can then see all of that information in this dashboard. Now these reports, you can configure the data in the background, so you can customize how these reports are being calculated and what pipelines they're coming from. So you can configure where the information is being fed from. And you can also change the display. So you might want to customize the display here. And you can also add your very own reports as well. So you can add your very own modular reports into here. And the analytics module, it reports on deals, it reports on leads. You might even want to set sales targets. So for your sales teams, you could set targets in the system here. So this is a really useful feature if you want to see how well your different sales agents are closing their deals and how close they are to their targets in the system. So the analytics module gives you a rich reporting feature. So this is really where you want to start building out your reports from all of the data that's available in your CRM system. And quite a new report that has been added to the system is the sales intelligence. And this then actually comes back to some of the lead generation systems. So what you can do in here is you can add the different sources of traffic that you have. So it could be, for example, Facebook or Instagram. You can add the different sources, and then you can add the amount of advertising spend that you have spent on those different sources. And it will then give you a return on investment based on how many of those have then converted to leads and deals. So this is really useful because it actually gives you a value of how well you are spending your advertising money on the different sources that generate you your sales. So there's lots of different reports in here that you can use in the system. So we've looked at the lead and deal, list and Kanban views. We've looked at CRM Analytics. Another way you can do reports in the CRM is using the report builder. So when you do this, you can go into the report section and you can select which area of Bitrix you would like to report on. So if I wanted to select deals, I can then give this report a name and a description, and I can then select all of the fields that I want to add to this report. And once I've done that, I can add any filters that I want to use to filter on the report. And I can then also add a chart. So if I want to add any visual graphical representation to the report, I can choose a type of chart. And it could be that this report is simply for myself. So I could just create this report and nobody else will be able to access it. Or I could share it with certain users in our system, or maybe certain departments. So maybe our sales department, for example, and I can then set their access level. So this is the third way that you can build reports in the system. Okay, so that's the ways that we can do reporting in the CRM system. So let's just see if we have any further questions here. So is it possible to use the analytics to monitor how many customers have requested information from my landing page? Okay, so it really depends on what you mean by what they've requested. So is that coming through from a live chat inquiry? So it will pull through the source of the information. If you could email sales@interface.com, we could specifically look at that for you in some more detail. Okay, so I think that's all of the questions for now. If you do have any other questions in the meantime, we'll be happy to set up a meeting with you and discuss your requirements in more detail. So please do email sales@interface.com and we can set up a meeting with you. And just before we finish today, we briefly talked at the start of the webinar about the cloud and self-hosted. In terms of what that comes within the CRM, both include leads, deals, invoicing, the reporting features. You can customize the record layouts, and they both include the automation processes that we've looked at today. The self-hosted does have access to the source code, so if there are additional customizations you require, we can fully customize the CRM system, and we can also then integrate the CRM with other systems, maybe an ERP system, for example. So if you do have advanced requirements of the CRM, the self-hosted system may be the way to look. But again, if you would like to set up a meeting, we'd be happy to discuss your specific requirements with you. Okay, so in summary today, we've looked at the CRM marketing features. We've seen how we can convert leads into deals and use automation processes to generate either client communications or internal activities. We've seen how we can communicate on multiple channels through calling or emailing, adding notes. And I think most importantly, we've seen how we can have a 360-degree view of all of the activity associated to our contacts. So we saw all of that communication log. We saw how we can integrate the deals and quotes and invoices. It's all associated back to that contact. And we've also looked there at the forecasting and the reporting features available in the CRM system. Okay, here you can see several other webinars we've got coming up soon, so I hope you can join us for those. I just want to say thank you all for your time today. I hope you found the Next Level CRM webinar useful today.